And if you are here, can you come like to the first couple rows or something? Just come up close, because there's only going to be 4 or 5 of us. Did you? Can you come? So, can you go down to Charlottenburg 2-3 and see if the Huawei guys that were doing the ag module are down there? So we were originally scheduled here.
Yeah.
Can you go down and see if any of the Huawei gentlemen who are working on Yang or TikTok are down there?
You mean the people? Some people missed.
Yeah, they said they were here, but I don't see them.
Okay.
If you just bring them up here if they're down there.
In which case, listen, it's like, yes. So it's a little more complicated. Okay, I got yeah. So that's right. Right. Because once you get to the country, there's a choice. whatever the event, that's all you come to. Should be, because we all have.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have a second person, so I'm not going to be able to monitor Jabber and do the presentation. Yeah. Okay, so that's for you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. This is the last session of IETF 96. This is the NTP TICTOC working group. This is a much bigger crowd than I expected. Actually, I was expecting like 3 or 4 of you. As I said on Monday, this is our note well. Everybody understands what the note well is. Oh, this one makes sense. See, this one's perfect. Oh yeah, I see it now. Oh, but I exited it, didn't I? That's what that button did. Really? How do you?
Move your mouse to the right. There you go.
See, I don't see it either. Oh, there it is. Oh. Anyway, phew. Maybe I should put my glasses on. Okay, so this is a note well, now that we've seen several versions of it. The agenda for the week. Okay, agenda for the week. We covered all the NTP items on Monday. I want to remind people we're talking about scheduling an NTP face-to-face interim, probably in the October timeframe, to deal primarily with the NTP security stuff and also the potentially the BCP. And the agenda for today is to talk a little bit about the TICTOC working group status, talk about the Yang data model, and what we want to do next with the scalable synchronization network work. And then I wanted to step back briefly and talk about the MIB. So right now, and I see Yakov is online. The one thing that I had left off the agenda was next steps for the MPLS draft, MPLS over 1588 draft. So maybe we'll bring that up at the end. Yakov, if you're actually online and can hop into the speaker queue at some point, that would be useful. So on working group status, so we have a 1588 version 2 MIB, and it has gone all the way through working group last call, and it's with the IESG, and there is a Okay. So the MIB has gone through the IESG, and there is in the last call process, there was a question raised about copyright questions about how much material is from IEEE 1588 that's repeated in the MIB. This was a question that I had told you might be resolved by today, but it has not been. There is a IEEE IETF coordination group. They are addressing the issue, and I think we're going to be scheduling a conference call in the near future, but that one should be really close to done. The only remaining issue beyond some editorial updates is to resolve this issue of how we properly deal with the copyright. I think part of the issue is because IEEE 1588 is not IEEE 802, and so we have fairly refined processes for dealing with IEEE 802, but not necessarily 1588. So the next thing is the Yang data model. There are no updates to the Yang data model. The question there is also around how we work. It's also currently a little bit in a holding state as we clarify how we work between IETF and IEEE 1588, with the intention being that the Yang model would be developed and it would, for 1588 version 2, and then it would transition to 1588 for development of a Yang module for version 3 and beyond. And we also scoped the 1588 version 2 version of it to be specifically to model only the data sets in the version 2 model, in the version 2 specification of 1588. So I don't know if any of the authors of that are here at this point. I don't see you. So, and we also have no update on that. I think that the resolution of those two issues are a little bit beyond the scope of this working group. So we need to work with the IETF and IEEE 1588 leadership to make sure that we have the processes in place that will enable us to do that transition. So there's nothing more to report on that work this week. So the next thing on the agenda was a discussion of the Scalable Synchronization Networks effort. And this was brought to the TICTOC working group a couple of IETFs ago. Then we established a mailing list, separate IETF mailing list to talk about, to further refine the problem statement. Are the authors of those documents here? I thought one of them was going to be here. Okay. I don't see any of the authors here. I think that to a certain extent that answers part of my question about whether the TICTOC working group wants to adopt this work or not. I think at this point we do not have consensus to adopt it. It needs to be much more fleshed out. Is there any discussion about developing this work? Let me ask this question. How many people have read the original Scalable Synchronization Network drafts? One? Yay, Brian. How many people are aware of the fact that we have a separate mailing list to discuss scalable synchronization networks? Okay, how many people have subscribed to that mailing list? Now that I mention it, you'll subscribe to it? Okay. Well, what I would really like to do is have working group consensus not to do this work at this time, which go ahead, Brian.
I will not say anything that discriminates against short people. Brian Haberman, So the last thing I remember about the discussion of that scalable synchronization network, I want to say it was Benoit, was kind of looking at it from an operational point of view. And the question was really, is this a protocol issue? Is this really just a network management issue? So I would recommend that you talk to your AD to talk to the ops ADs and figure out if they decided if that was true or not. But I tend to agree, based on what I've read, that this is not a protocol issue. It's an ops and management issue.
Okay. Okay. That simplifies that. So the last thing on the agenda for this week, this is making me feel, I hope none of you stayed, especially for this meeting. I did warn some of you, you could leave early. So the next question is we've talked several times about the merging of NTP and TICTOC into a single working group. We will be doing this. We have been strongly encouraged to do this, and I think it only makes sense. I have just a couple of sense of the room types of questions. Is there any strong feeling about whether to leave the NTP working group or to create a new working group that merges the two? Are there any, do people out there see any confusing the community issues around that?
Stuart, Brian, it seems to me it makes sense to have the time working group, then all matters related to time technologies would have a home, and you wouldn't have any sort of fights between the various camps.
Right. For all practical purposes, these have been the same working group for a while now. A single time working group that addresses all things related to time synchronization protocols, all network time synchronization protocols.
Hi, I'm just relaying Yakov Stein here. Calling it only NTP would be confusing. Okay, that's the sense I wanted to get. I also, from the NTP perspective, I wondered if it would be confusing to move NTP to a non-NTP working group, but if it was something as simple as time, then I think that would be fine. So I have struggled a bit to get a charter put together on this. Is there one or two people that would volunteer to help me merge the charter text? Shorter, concise, single milestones. Stuart would help me. And Dieter, excellent. So Dieter and Stuart. It feels really ridiculous in front of this huge room with.
Yes, lest there be any misunderstanding, I was scratching my head, not volunteering. I'm here because time is clearly very important and security depends on time. But I'm sort of here in an educational mode, learning stuff.
Okay, actually, Stuart Bryant is sitting behind you, and that's the Stuart I meant. Sorry. And I will say that this is probably not the best one to come to. Meeting to be educational, because it's the dregs of the end of the agenda from Monday. Oh, that's true, you did, now that I think about it. Go ahead.
So Yakov is suggesting to name the new working group SYNC, which stands for Sync Your Network Clock.
Thank you, Yakov. I think, is it Yakov or Stuart that's responsible? Stuart Bryant. It's responsible for TikTok, I don't know. Okay, so I have some volunteers to help with the charter. I think we have, at this point, three names that have been proposed, Net Time, Time, and now Sync. I would like to get this done in the next month if possible. I think we've talked about it long enough and not actually executed on it. So with that, is there anything else people want to raise about the NTP or TICTOC agenda for the week? Thank you. 1580 over MPLS, since Yakov is there. Yakov, I'm about ready to kill that draft. Is there an update coming, or what's the deal? And he can go to the remote queue if he wants.
Yakov says there's no update needed here, just proto.
Just what?
Proto? Do you mean
Oh, the
publication
proto
request?
wrap-up. Oh, that's right. So I thought there was another take the draft coming. But he's going to, wow, this is really, but, so ask Yakov. I believe the proto write-up for that was in your hands. Are you planning to do that?
He says, yes, I really need to get around to that.
Okay. So we need the proto write-up for the 1588 over MPLS. I will also note that Greg Mirsky has sent some additional, the residence time documents have been coming through the IETF as well. Oh, and now my Yang author is here. Okay, so we were just actually, with apologies, adjourning the meeting. I just saw you walk in, so perhaps we can talk afterwards about the status of the various documents. Did you have anything you wanted to report on the Yang model or the Scalable Synchronization Network?
This is Yuanlong from Huawei. For the Yang module, we have updated to the version 4 during the last IETF meeting. We don't have any update yet, but there's some exchange of emails with IEEE 1588 guys.
Right.
It seems they have some concerns on the transfer process of our IETF process. So we still need to maybe have some liaisons with them. So,
okay, so independent of, I'll repeat what I said earlier just briefly, but independent of the update process, independent of the IEEE 1588 IETF issue, do you see any additional technical work required, or is the document roughly ready to progress?
yeah, for the technical aspects, I don't see anything that is in controversy. So I think it's quite stable now. So I would like to see it will be adopted in this TikTok work group, and also we can process it into its publication.
Okay, so we can talk offline about the results of the IEEE IETF coordination meeting earlier in the week and how we're going to move forward there. But they need to figure out some more stuff, and so I'm waiting for the high level, the leadership to figure out the next steps. I think the general consensus is we want to do this, and it shouldn't be this hard, and I'm not sure what the complication is. But
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. The other, you're also involved in the Scalable Synchronization Network work, right?
Yes, yes.
So,
for the scalable synchronization, we have set up a mailing list to discuss this topic. I just think we have a great progress during the last a couple of months, but we do like to have more inputs from the attendees in the IETF meeting. And we are also socializing with more people in the industry, we do see quite a few interest from them. So maybe we will have a discussion for the next IETF meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that the conversation we had was, we don't see that. I think we need, potentially we could send another message to the time-related working groups, but Brian has also suggested the management area,
Yes.
ops area. So we can talk about that offline, but I don't think that there's enough consensus to move it forward in this working group. So we think it might be a different topic area, but we can talk about that further offline. I didn't get a catch. I didn't see you this morning. I couldn't catch you to ask you those questions. So, but thank you. And we'll work more.
Yeah, thank you.
So with that, is there anything else that people want to bring up related to time or TikTok? Okay. So for the folks that agreed to do the first, to work on the charter, can one of you, I'm going to rely on one of the two of you to do a first draft, if that's okay? It's okay? Okay. Excellent. Any other questions, comments, or inappropriate remarks? Nope. Thank you. Have a good day. Oh, that's right, you need, that's right, you need to leave.